Hi everyone, welcome to Medicine for the Soul. I'm Sarah. Today is your 5-minute beginner video on cool down stretches. So we'll begin right into a downward facing dog. That's typically where your cool down is going to begin. So we will place our hands on the mat, fingers spread nice and wide, and lifting our hips up and back on an exhale. And maybe taking whatever movements here feel good. Maybe you want to walk the dog out a little bit. Pushing away from the mat, lifting your hips up and back. Take a nice deep breath here. And I can always tell when I'm a student in a class when the cool down is coming because we usually come into half pigeon. So let's come into that. We're going to inhale, right leg up and back in three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee towards your right wrist, right ankle towards your left wrist, shoelace side of your left foot on the mat. Maybe scoot your left leg back a little bit. And my right ankle is pretty far from my left wrist, but it's moving in that direction. So you do not need to be touching, just kind of in that direction. You can stay lifted here. We do want just a teeny tiny subtle micro baby tuck of the pelvis, really just to protect our lower back. So again, you can stay lifted. You can come onto your forearms. You can bring your forearms horizontal and bring your forehead down. Whatever is feeling good to you that day. You can use a block or a bolster or a folded blanket and push it underneath your hip for some added support. And coming out of this pose, we're going to inhale, tuck the left toes. Exhale, push up and back into three-legged dog, bringing your right foot to the mat. Let's do the other side. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, bringing your left knee towards your left wrist, left ankle towards your right wrist. Again, kind of adjusting once you get here, scooching your right leg back, pointing your toes, and then grabbing whatever props you need. So this is what it looks like to have a block underneath your hip, just for some support. You can also use your blocks on this medium setting as a support for your forearms. So bringing your forearms down to your blocks just like this. We still want to be active here. So our upper body is still active. Our shoulders are down and away from the ears. Our belly button is coming back in towards our spine for that nice strong core. Again, we have this teeny tiny baby micro tuck of the pelvis. Just a little teeny bit to protect our lower back. And take some nice deep breaths while you're here. And coming out of this pose again, we're going to bring our hands to the mat. Inhale, tuck the toes, right toes, and exhale, pushing up and back into a three-legged dog. And left leg, or left foot rather, back to the mat. And let's bring our knees to the mat. We're going to come into child's pose. So knees to the mat, and maybe your toes touch, but we're going to bring our feet in close together. Push your seat back towards your heels, and we're going to reach for the top of the mat and bring your forehead down to the mat. So the feeling we want to have while we're here is that our tailbone is reaching down towards the mat behind us and that the crown of the head is reaching towards the top of the mat. So nice long spine, nice lower back stretch. Taking some deep breaths, maybe noticing your ribs expanding on each inhale. And let's lift our forehead off of the mat. Walk your hands over to the left and bring your forehead back to the mat. You're going to feel a nice stretch in your right side. Lifting your forehead off of the mat again, walking your hands over to the right, bringing your forehead back to the mat, and you'll feel a nice stretch on your left side. And let's lift our forehead off of the mat again, walking your hands back until you're in an upright position. We're going to go right onto our backs. So let's gently lower down to the mat. Bringing your knees in towards your chest, giving them a nice little hug, and maybe rocking side to side. Maybe hugging your knees isn't super accessible to you, and so you can bring your hands to your knees and rock side to side, whatever works for you. And we're going to keep our right knee bent, extend the left leg down the mat, and we're going to bring our right knee over to the left, twisting, so you can lift your right hip off of the mat and extend your right arm out to the right and gaze over towards your right hand. This is another time when you can use props, so you can put a bolster or pillow underneath your right knee if that's comfortable for you. Nice neutralizing spinal twist. This is a supine twist. Let's come back to center. Bring both knees back in and extend the right leg down the mat this time. Left knee comes over to the right. Left arm comes out to the left and gaze left. And come back to center. One more squeeze for your knees. While we're here, we're going to shine the soles of our feet towards the ceiling, coming into Happy Baby, my favorite cool down stretch. And from here, there's options. So you can grab behind your knee. I like to call it your knee cup. You can grab your calves. Maybe you want to grab your ankles, or if you really want to go for it, grab the outside of your feet. And again, this is a nice pose also to just kind of rock side to side. Take a couple final deep breaths. And you can release your feet back to the mat. Let's roll onto our side, push ourselves up to a seated position. And that is a little taste of a cool down for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.